Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Ask questions. I see. Bashful. So we're
I
on
have a question about Robotpencil mentorship Facebook group.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Can I join there? Like
No.
no.
Yeah, of course. Did you ask for invite? Yeah, let's see. Add you.
I did not.
You can ask John or be requested to get in there. I think that's the way to get about it.
I think I did, but maybe my name is on Cyrillic. So
Hold on.
I don't know. I will ask John. You don't need to do it now. So
Oh, and I can probably do it now. All right, let's see. Let us see. Oh, we can add Sylvia so we can be a part of this. Okay, let's see. How do I know? I haven't done this in a while. Just members. I think this is the way to go. Is it Demontis? Is this Demontis? Who's talking right now?
Uros.
Eurus. Oh, right here. Is that you?
Yeah.
Decline and then block.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks,
the Facebook group is there. It's nice, but I found that using the Discord is going to be better. We're going to be seeing more population there. But yeah, of course, you guys have access to that too. Just ask, request to be invited, and then also just reach out to me, John, or Kaylin, and they'll put you in. John Ribera, if you're not sure which John I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or just message me on Discord and ask to be on there. Anyway, any other questions?
I watch your streams all the time, so when's the next stream?
You know what? I might do one today.
Okay.
Probably after lunch, so probably like either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock today.
Okay. When I paint, I usually watch streams or Art Cafe or Robotpencil streams. So.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them if you don't know where they're at on the website.
Yeah.
You can just go and watch all of them. I'm going to start putting them on YouTube too. I'm going to actively do that. I stopped teaching one extra class. I usually teach 3 classes, but I'm going to only teach 2 starting March 20th. Excuse me. And the goal is to be able to do more streams and more tutorials that extra time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they helped me a lot, like really a lot.
Oh man, you're not the first person, right? Like there's so many people that I get messages from that love the streams, because not everybody can afford, a mentorship, which is really, a tool to help you to obviously talk with me firsthand, bi-weekly, and also an opportunity for me to give you guys kind of insight that's more personal and the stuff I don't necessarily say on the stream, which is nice. But the streams are nice just because it's just conversation. It's usually me and my friends. We just talk about stuff, and sometimes it's art, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I answer questions, sometimes I don't. Yeah. But it's entertaining and it's also educational for a lot of people. I get that, and so we're going to try to do it more. You know, for obvious reasons, like it's good because it's good to be a part of the community. I'm a big fan of reaching out and talking to people and helping them. But I'm also like a huge fan of, uh, I'm a big fan of just like streaming in general. I think it's a great way to
Yeah.
just to connect with the people. So I'm gonna probably do it more. It's just, I just got to structure it at some level, so that way it's not just whenever I feel like it. But right now, it's got to get back into it. Because after I went through surgery, it kind of screwed me up.
Yeah, that was hard. Yeah.
But I'm recovered, so it should be okay. Or I am recovering.
What do you stream on? Do you stream on like Facebook or something, or are you using Twitch?
None of your business. None of your business.
All right,
How dare
I
you
see how
ask
it
me a
is.
question? Unless you could hook me up with some camping gear for a reason.
I mean, I don't know about that, dude.
Yeah, I stream on Facebook. But if you go
Uh,
to, yeah, if you follow me on Facebook, you should be, that's the same. I need to make it a little more of a thing, like an event. But if you go to just my website, you'll see right here it says streams. So if you didn't catch them, you can just catch. As soon as I'm done uh, doing them, I usually upload them the same day or the next day.
okay, yeah. Cause like I saw that Learn Squared was on Twitch, so I wasn't sure if you were using Twitch or not.
No, not yet. So the first step is to upload all of these streams to um, YouTube. And as I get closer to uploading them, I'm just going to switch to Twitch. Well, not switch, but use Twitch as part of what I was going to stream with. So I stream on Twitch and Facebook
Right, yeah.
because what's great about Twitch is that you can like upload it to YouTube as soon as you're done. It's like they're like partnered.
Yeah, like I learned so much from streams. Not just you guys, like even Mache or like Feng Zhu, because
Oh yeah,
they
totally.
really help. Like you guys are doing so much things, and it is really like inspiring to me, and to help me start learning and everything. So amazing thing. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I learned a lot from watching Gnomon DVDs when I first started out. We didn't have like all these streams and tutorials that are just super affordable or free, just lying around.
Yeah.
So
Like
take advantage
I
of it.
learned so much from you and from few other guys. Like and now this mentorship, I learned so much. Like like 3 weeks. This is going for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. This mentorship, yeah.
Yeah,
So I learned now so much, even more that I learned on my. I was in college, like art college, something like that.
yeah. You were hanging out with us in the last stream, didn't you? And you brought that up, right?
Uh,
Or
I
was it
did, but
you?
it was someone else.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Sorry.
but I was listening. Yeah, you were talking about that, but I like I learned so much from you, like in 3 weeks, and on my college I was like learning learning stuff, but not really learning.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
was
gotcha. Yeah, I
crazy,
understand
man.
because I went to art school too, so I experienced it firsthand. So I understand 100%. And that is my beef with the educational process in general is that people don't necessarily learn as much as they would like to learn from these institutes. And a lot of the reason why is because these institutes can give two shits about you guys. And it's not that they don't on the surface. On the surface, you know, they're really looking forward to take your money and then try to give you the education that will hopefully get you some sort of job. But if you look at the scope of time spent going to these schools and then the skill learned or earned, it's not, doesn't match up, especially the money spent here in the States. A lot of people spend a lot of money on education here in America, and it's kind of unwarranted
Yeah.
because here's the thing, like when you have a school where teachers can be replaced by other teachers easily, it's a good reflection of the quality of education you might be getting out of these schools. You know, education should have teachers that are hard to replace, you know?
Yeah.
And when you have teachers that are hard to replace, you're going to have to pay them more. And that's the thing. Like these schools don't necessarily want to pay more. It's just the overhead, man. They don't want to pay people more money if they don't deserve it. And as they should. That's just good business practices. You know, you hire people who can do the job and do the job well. You understand? So you
Yeah.
know, so in America, we're going through this whole ordeal with Donald Trump, right? I'm sure you've heard about it. Okay, if you haven't heard
Yes.
about it, we got a circus clown running the country right now, like
Every
literally.
news is Donald Trump on TV.
Yeah, literally, he looks like a clown too. So anyway, um, so what the point I'm trying to make is that, well, all this is going on. One of the things that they're trying to do, or what Donald Trump has been trying to pitch to people, is that he's going to get us more jobs. He's going to get Americans more jobs. It is all these other countries taking advantage of us. We need to stop making these people take all our jobs away from hardworking Americans. Um, there is millions of job openings all across the United States, upwards to, I believe, 4 million jobs that are available. You know?
Yeah.
So why aren't Americans taking these jobs? Why are jobs outsourced in the first place? Do you know? Do you know? Most people actually don't know this. I didn't even really know this. Do you know why
Maybe
we
they're not
outsource?
qualified. Yeah.
The reason why Americans aren't getting these jobs is they're not qualified. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, you're right. That's exactly right. That's the exact reason why companies aren't hiring Americans is because a lot of Americans are just not qualified.
Well, it's hard to believe, like, but
Hold
what
on,
they say.
yeah. Well, it's the truth, right? Like, and well, for whatever reason, jump into that right now, Matthew. Yeah, that one should last for 30 minutes. So jump on in.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and so, you know, why don't you guys just start working for the industry? Like, why don't you just apply to Ubisoft, like right now, guys, and just start working? Go. The job's there, right? Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
go look for jobs, guys. All right. So go on the bottom, right here. Oh, actually, let's go for something a little bit more related. Let's see all jobs.
Character.
I think they're, if I remember correctly, I believe they were hiring concept artists. Here you go. Go for it, guys. Apply. That's a job.
Yeah, Ubisoft is actually having so much trouble hiring lately too. It's insane.
Yeah, so why, like why, yeah, Ali, you brought up a good question. So what is the solution? Should companies lower their standards? Well, should they? Just to give people jobs? Why do companies owe it to the lowest common denominator? Do you understand? Like, why do they have to sacrifice their quality potentially just to give a novice person a job? See,
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer that you're allowed to make mistakes and have faults and not be awesome right away. I'm always very encouraging to you guys, right? I don't say to you guys, look, you guys are a bunch of lazy punks if you don't turn in your work, or like you're gonna fail the industry, like you're never gonna make it with that kind of attitude. I've never been that kind of teacher. At some point in my career, I was kind of like that. I was really hard on my students, but I've detracted from that because the reality is that you guys can get that job, but just probably not today, right?
Yeah.
And I usually tell you guys that it's just a matter of time, you know? And that's the problem. I actually have a good friend of mine who was making some complaints recently, and I actually was going to call him and talk to him about it because he had lost like another job opportunity potentially, and he just doesn't get it. He's like, I don't get why people just don't give me a chance. And I'm starting to think, bro, like we've been giving you nothing but chances. You're the one that just decided never to really truly upgrade your portfolio. And he's the greatest example of what I'm trying to get at, which is nobody owes you anything. You understand?
Yeah.
You have to earn your keep. Like that's a very conservative point of view. Like that's why I'm an independent. I don't really care so much for the 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 left or the right. I look at the facts and rationality, right? It's reasonable for a company not to hire you if you're not qualified. That is rational, you know?
Yeah.
It is not rational for them to give you a job just because you want a job. That's not how it works. Okay?
Yeah.
And so this whole thing of, they're taking our jobs. They took our jobs. It's because people overseas are just better. That's all. It's that simple. Not all of them, but just a lot of people. To say that only the best comes from America is also irrational and arrogant. Watch. Let's do a test. Let's see how many people are from America that I select on. He's from Spain. So the first person I selected that had awesome artwork is not from America. Let's pick another one that I think is amazing. This is pretty amazing. This guy's from China.
Mm.
Let's see. I'm sure I'll find an American somewhere. Let's see if I can find one.
They just happen
Nope,
to
this is
try
Russia.
harder to get to America.
Yeah, and these people deserve it because not only do they have the work that they need to get these jobs, they have to go through the freaking extraordinary visa process that we have here in the
Yeah.
States. When an American person, all they have to do is just get good, you know, and yet they complain, right? And oh man, let me give you a great example. So I did an event here in America called Creative Juice, right? I was selling the tickets for super cheap, like $150 for 2 days workshop. 7, or I'm sorry, I had 12 speakers, 6 speakers a day. You know, amazing, amazing talents, including you mentioned Miche. He was one of those people, and Ash, and it's free now. You can get the actual talk for free on my Gumroad. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's a great talk. People who went loved it. They thought it was an amazing talk, right? Half, almost more than half of the people that went there, a little over half, were not from California or from the country at all. That's insane. Out of like the 120 people that showed up, about 60 to 70 people were not even from the country or from the state.
Whoa.
Okay. And I live in Southern California, if you guys don't know. And Southern California is like the heart of like the industry. There are thousands of students wanting to get a job in this industry that live here in California. Thousands. Understand?
Yeah.
So, you know, on paper, and this is my first hard lesson learning that just on paper, and just because it seems like it's going to make sense doesn't mean it will. I learned. And now that tool allowed me to teach other people how to host their own workshops or their own classes or their own schools. So just because you're good at one thing and you have everything and you think you're solving a solution to a problem doesn't mean that it's going to be a kick-ass thing, okay? Case in point, my workshop that I had, right? Here's another great example. I had a free hangout where people can come and hang out just with other concept artists, including myself, at just like a like drinking and hanging out. That's all it was. It was an art mixer, Robotpencil art mixer. It was the first of its kind, and it was based off of the idea. When I went to Croatia, I met half of the people there that were amazing, and some of those people were people that are from my state, let alone city, right? Like people that I know. And I was like, how come we only meet when we travel, like when we go across the ocean? You know? Like why do we have
Yeah.
to like leave our country before we can hang out with each other, even though we only live a few hundred miles away from each or a few dozen miles away from each other? I thought it was silly. And I realized a lot of people were also from California. You know what I mean? It was great. And so what I did was I thought, well, I'm going to make a mixer and I'm going to try to get people together. But see, I was wise this time. I knew that I would probably get 30 or 40 people to show up, maybe in the first one, if I was lucky. And maybe 10 to 20 people just on the merit of what it was. And sure enough, we got 10 to 20 people in the first event. It was what I expected. I didn't expect a lot. But I knew there's thousands of people available to attend this type of thing. But I knew if I just kept that up, it would become larger and larger, right? So anyway,
Yeah.
and it was free. You can just show up, we hang out, we play games, and we draw, and it was fun. So we had pictures we put online. People were like, whoa, this is a thing. So we had the next one the next month. Now I charged $15 because it cost money to rent the venue that we were doing it at. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this might not work out. You know, I remember even John at the time was like, I don't know, man, people don't want to spend some money. I was like, oh, they will, because this is a big deal. Okay. It's just that we just got to keep with it. Just like I always teach you guys, right? You just got to keep with something and eventually you'll get to where you want to be, right? So the same thing.
Yeah.
I believe in my own philosophy because its basis is on fact. And so then when I did that, sure enough, 60 people showed up, almost tripled the first attendance,
Yeah.
and or more than tripled. And then it was a success. It was huge. It was fun. Everyone had a great time. And then we did the third one, and this one was the largest one we did, and about 120 people showed up. We doubled, and we charged $15 at the door. We still charged people, and more people showed up. But it demonstrated to me and to my friends that were hosting these events that people actually do want to go to these types of things, and there are a group of people that actually respect and understand the value of these events. You understand?
Yeah.
But just because I live in California and just because I had all these access to amazing talent doesn't mean that people are going to show up to these events. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and a lot of these people are from California and they have all of these advantages. And I went to school with these goddamn motherfuckers. Not all of the ones, but I know the type. I went to school and I'd see these people in class playing Minecraft or Street Fighter. And I get it, like you gotta have time to play video games, but this is all they would do.
Yeah.
And then, these are the same kinds of people that when they hear, other people are taking your jobs, you're like, yeah, they're the reason why I don't have a job. No, motherfucker. You don't have a job because you suck. That's as simple as that. Because if foreigners were taking jobs, then how am I getting jobs? How is that possible if like really they're going out to foreigners? How am I continuously able to get jobs consistently? Oh, it's because that's not the case. It's not that companies are like, oh yeah, we want to hire people from out of country because they'll be cheaper. No, like a lot of the people that were hired overseas or foreigners, there's two reasons why people get hired. Number one, you're not qualified, so they hire qualified people, and sometimes they have to look outside of their country. Reasonable. And number two, nobody wants to do those jobs, so they hire people that want to do those jobs. There was a
Yeah.
thing that happened in Oregon where like, the government was trying to like, or the state was trying to like bring down the legal immigrant count or the undocumented immigrants who were working on or in the country, or I'm sorry, in the state. And what they did was these farmers were like, oh shoot, this new law is going to come in place. I don't want to get, fined. So I'm going to, lay off all of my foreign workers and then, start hiring domestic, right? Meaning Americans. And so they did that. And then guess what? They couldn't hire
Yeah.
they couldn't hire new people. There's nobody that wanted to pick some strawberries in the fields. Who would have thought? And then and they're like, well, okay, we'll just increase the wage because we need workers. So they increased the wage like $15 or $20 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And guess what? People still didn't want to pick strawberries.
Yeah, like I have friends like from high school.
Uh-huh.
They go to America,
Uh-huh.
like Alaska or something like that, and they work like they drive trucks or something like, or like in how do you call the I don't know, some like jobs like pick strawberries, I don't know.
Like
And
farmer jobs, like just working
yeah,
jobs. And I'm not
yeah,
trying to
working
say,
jobs.
yeah, and I'm not even
They
trying to.
come here and like they earn so much there because we have here so much
Cool.
standards, and yeah, so like every year they go to North America and work there like for 6 months or 3 months, I don't know,
Yeah.
and they come here and just chill or do something else. Like they are doing that
Yeah, and
like
that's great.
for a living.
And what I'm trying to make a point of is not that these jobs are to be looked down upon. In fact, I'm always making the case that if you're doing something that you like, for instance, if I was still working at the Gap or Old Navy, like I mentioned earlier, I was happy. I was completely happy in working there. But the reason why I stopped is because I just wasn't making enough money. But if I was making as
Yeah.
much money as I am making now, from like folding clothes and just talking to people and helping people find the right size for their shirts, I'd probably
Yeah.
still be working there because I actually did enjoy it. And there are people that when I was working there that they're older people and they worked there and they probably still work there, or work some sort of retail job.
Yeah.
I had a friend who never went to college, but he got a job as a banker, and now he's like a manager and like this high status person at this bank, you know, and uh,
Yeah.
and he just worked his way up, and he's now doing really good. Like that's his career now. He's a banker, right? He just decided
Yeah.
that's what he wants to do, and he's happy with it, and he makes a great living. And that to me is what the goal is. It's not about working and making money. It's about finding a job that fulfills you and just staying with it. And if you have friends that have found that with trucking or, doing, like you said, like a Alaskan type of jobs that nobody else wants to do, then more
Yeah.
power to them, man. That's great. My goal is always whenever I'm teaching you guys is to let you know that you don't have to necessarily be a character concept artist. You could be an environment concept artist, a prop concept artist. You don't have to do realistic. You can do stylized. You can do whatever you want. Just make sure that it's something that you actually enjoy. If you enjoy doing the work that you do for the class, then just keep at it, guys. Eventually you'll get there. You'll make a living doing it.
I love characters and I love environments like the same. Like I really love environments. So, but I decided for now just to stick to the characters.
Yeah, and that's smart.
Just to pick one because I love them both. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right to just focus, and I would actually encourage that. I usually tell people to focus, not as a product of you'll never become a good environment artist. No, it's just you'll just be better overall. And if you decide to switch over, that's great. If not, that's also fine.
Yeah.
And so to kind of get to this whole point of like, the statement that I'm trying to make is just that, a lot of you guys are very like the people that are in this class, I like to think that a good 80 to 90% of the people that I've taught through my Robotpencil mentorship are going to be very successful. A high percentage of you guys. Okay? And the reason why I think this is because you guys coughed up $400 to $500 to be in a part of this class. You cough up 2 to 3 hours or 3 to 6 hours of your time to be in class. You spend another 10, maybe more hours to work on the homework for the classes.
Yeah.
And that's a big indicator that you're working towards becoming better. And that's something very important because a lot of people do not do this. They just don't. Okay? And that's really what makes the difference between the successful and the not successful is not because there's no jobs available. There's always going to be jobs and there's always going to be competition. There's always going to be people better than you and there's always going to be people looking to hire you. Right? You're always going to be rejected and you're always going to be accepted. This is just how it works. Okay? It just goes, you don't know and how, you can't control when these events will happen though. You don't know when you're going to get rejected. You don't know when you're going to get picked up. But you can at least control how good your work is.
Yeah.
Right? And if you make your work super amazing, then you increase your chances of getting jobs. If you constantly go to events and talk to new people, then you'll increase your chances to get a job. This is just how it works. And if, oh, that's scary. Super, super bright reflective eyelids. Um, and so what I'm trying to make a point of is that you guys really need to um, not get too caught up with any of these types of things that you might see or hear. People get disgruntled very easily when things don't go their way. And I'm just trying to make a very clear point that, the reason why you guys will succeed is mostly because of your patience, right? And really what I want to make a point of too is that the quality of your work is all the things you should focus on because it truly will help you become a badass and it will increase your chances. And by the way, like the reason why I brought up like this whole Trump stuff is just because it's very clear to me that a lot of people just don't understand a basic concept of like there are opportunities, always opportunities around. It's just whether you deserve it or not. That's the question. And if you deserve it and you still have a hard time getting jobs, which does also happen, then you have to ask yourself, what other variables are you not considering? And usually the other variable is that people just don't know who you are. Right? And you just don't go out enough. You just expect people to find you out of like some sort of weird coincidence. Like just randomly, just like, I'm just going to randomly type in UROS and see what happens. Right? And then they find your website. That's unlikely. But if you do something like you do contests or you do a fan art that's really like interesting and people spot it out, or you just post often, or you just do a combination of all these things, you increase your chances.
Yeah.
What the? Kill it. Kill it. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. Don't not kidding.
Anthony, for for the next week, we're going to have some change because the hour change in United States now. Next
Oh yeah,
week.
you might be right. When does that change? What day? And what kind of change is it?
Yeah, it's you. So we're not going to have the change the new hour, the summer hour in Europe in 2 weeks. So the lesson will start 1 hour before the classical hour, I think. No?
No, you're right. I'm just trying to figure out March 12th, which is Sunday, and it ends on Sunday of November 5th.
You wake up 1 hour early, no?
I don't know. I always, like when this happens, it always catches me off guard. So thanks for bringing it up. Like my
Yeah,
whole
one
life,
hour earlier,
the
I think.
30, the 32, almost 33 years of my life on this planet, I always get caught off. Okay, so it's one
Because
hour earlier. So it's the
Yeah,
worst one.
1 hour earlier. Yeah.
Huros and I, we are in
Right. So if
Europe,
I
so
wake up at 7, it's 8 o'clock. Is that correct? Or is no? It's if I wake up at 7, it's 6 o'clock.
It's
yes,
6 o'clock. Yeah.
yes. It
So
means that
yeah,
for us, we start your the lesson at 5 p.m., but we're going to start at 4 p.m. next week for the last week.
yeah, yeah. That sounds about right. So when I wake up at 8, it will be 7.
Yeah,
Yeah, go to sleep earlier.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is the good one, I think. This is the one that's beneficial because if you normally if you wake up late, yeah, because if you wake up early in November, so it's the one in November. If you wake up early, like if I wake up at 8, it's actually 9, so an hour ahead. Yeah. So that's not what I want. This is the good one. This is the good one for
Yeah,
me.
this is the good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
one because if you wake up late, you actually still wake up early. Got it. So yes. So yes, for you guys, it'll
For
be an
Jason, for
hour
Jason,
earlier for who? Which two? Well, everybody else is.
Jason,
Well, actually, it
4
affects
a.m.
everybody. I think it affects everybody
Yeah,
because
but for us, yeah, it's like for us, yeah,
yeah, everybody's
for
affected,
everyone.
even Americans, because you guys have to wake up later. It's not affected negatively for us though, so we're okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Anthony, you're going to do another month of lessons, but the next month on March, yes?
Yeah, we're gonna start like right after this class.
Yeah, and will you will you make another lessons on April or not?
Wait, say that again?
Because maybe I would be interested in having a second month mentoring in April.
In
April?
If
April.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, there's April is already available. If you want to sign up for it, it's already available. But it's just not on the website. Just ask me on
Okay,
Discord, and I'll
okay,
just send you the link. I send
yeah,
out a link to the waiting list so people have early access.
yeah.
There's an opportunity because it usually sells really well, and there's actually been a lot of people who've been wanting to do April class,
Mm-hmm.
like they've been waiting for that one. And then some people wanted an evening class because I got rid of the other evening class for the March because I just didn't want to do the evening class. But
And
but
just
I brought it back, but I'm still just teaching 2 classes, but I'm just one of them is morning, one of them is evening, to
okay.
help out those
And
people that are a little bit more
all the
interested in it.
time, it's the 20th. It starts in the 20th of the month to the 20th of the next month. That's
So
correct?
somewhere around that time, yeah. Yes.
Okay. No, but maybe because I can the next month, but I can. Now it's funny. I think about what all you said. I just a personal example for today. For the two drawing I made today. The second drawing I made, I finished during my during my job. In fact, because you know I'm an art teacher in a junior art school,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, yeah, the kids are cool. and they were very cool because I took my Wacom companion.
Oh, great.
And I get my I get my Wacom companion during the course, and I still okay, do that, draw that, and let me give me some time. So I got stuff to do. And the kids say, what are you doing? And I just go around my desk, and they say, oh, you do that? Oh, great! Oh, you play in? Oh, is that character from World of Warcraft, or is that? That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And I realized what I say that because I realized one thing, that it's possible to take with my Wacom. I never to myself. I say all the time to myself. I said all the time to myself. I said that it wasn't possible to work during when you get lunch pause, and it's wrong. In fact, with the
Yes.
Wacom companion, you can take Wacom everywhere and
Yes.
take 30 minutes walking, and it works because I finished the second drawing. I finished during my classes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's kind of like what you're saying. Like, oh, I brought it up with Jessica, right? That there's
Yeah.
always an opportunity, and she made good with her time, you know. And people who tell me that there's not enough time, um, they're misspeaking. They mean they didn't manage their time well. That's usually what they mean.
Yeah.
There's always available time. It's just depending on how they use it. That's what really affects people's ability to get the kind of stuff they want to do done. I brought this up in one of the other classes, but I'll bring it up here, where one person was asking about that, and I told him about a story where I had a friend who, this friend of mine, he would always complain that he never had time, and I was just like, no, there's time. You're just not using your time well. And he's like, no, dude, there's like no time. I just never have time. I just never have time. Never have time. And I'm like, no, bro, you definitely have time. He's like, no, I never had time. And then, year or two later, he has kids, and we meet up again, and we start talking. And he's like, dude, I had all the time in the world. Because as soon as he had children, he realized that they take a lot of time. And that extra time that he had is now was being expended on his children, helping raise his children. But here's the thing. When he told me that, I was like, oh, yeah, man, totally. Kids like take a lot of time. But you still have time. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, you still have time. And he's like, all right, I believe you. And I was like, yeah, you better. And this is because as soon as you believe you don't have time, then you're right. See, that's the problem with excuses, is that if you believe them, then they will become reality, right? But if you believe in them and then you say, this is a real problem, like I do have a bad time managing, or I have a bad time management, then I need to fix that. And that's what I usually say to people, it's okay to have excuses, but if you keep having the same excuses, then that becomes a problem. Because that means you don't care about solving the problem.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Oh yes,
realized
it
one
will be, Rachel. Yes.
one thing. It's it's maybe a detail, but not for me. I realized that the last 3 weeks, I spent maybe 30 or 40 hours. I don't count the hours, but I paint more in 3 weeks than in the last 8 months. You know, so
You guys make me very happy with all you guys' positive feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is amazing, man. Like really amazing.
Yeah, you guys will be shocked at what you guys can do. All I'm doing is revealing to how simple it is for you guys to accomplish the goals that you might have in mind. It really is not. Um, that's what a mentor's job is supposed to do, is not just teach you how to paint, but also to teach you kind of how to think about painting in your career and how to pursue it. So by all means, I appreciate you guys' your feedback. But let it be known that a lot of this could have been done, and I just wanted to let you guys know on your own. And so you gotta find some time to really reflect on that. And I'm not trying to say that you guys didn't need to take my class at all and never take my classes ever again or any class from anyone else. I'm just saying is that a lot of what people don't realize about success is it's a waiting game. Like who's willing to wait? And a lot of people aren't. So if you guys can make that a part of your diet, this ability to wait, you guys will see a lot of success in your career. I promise.
Is there still room for next class, like March class?
I think there might be 2 seats left. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe to do to take the March class and to do sci-fi or creature, something like
Oh
that.
yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. If you like to, sign up. I'm going to be shutting the class down on Friday though, even if it doesn't sell out, just so because I don't have to worry about like last minute entries. Because that's what happened last time, and I got like 3 or 4 students just totally mixed matched, and I'm like, oh man, I should have organized that better.
So like tomorrow or next Friday?
Tomorrow. Yeah, this Friday. Sorry, because next class I'll be sending out the entry, like the entering of the class and stuff like that, the kind of stuff that you guys had.
Okay.
No pressure.
Yeah.
You can always sign up in the future. I know, like,
Yeah, I am thinking about it.
okay, yeah. I was like, you don't have to sign up right
Now or the future?
now.
Now,
But one thing that like I've been getting really into politics, like I've been talking to you guys about, and like this whole job stuff really got me thinking. And because a lot of this fucking politics or politicians, they're just like they have these stupid solutions. Their solutions for these for these types of programs, for instance, like healthcare and education, is to make it privatized. And because the idea behind privatization, if you guys don't know, is a very conservative point of view. And I actually believe in, like I said, I'm an independent thinker, which is I can look past a party affiliation. I look at what makes sense. And competition makes sense. Like think about smartphones, right? Smartphones make sense because you have this smartphone in your guys' pockets now that are just an evolution and a product of competition. You got this very affordable, super powerful machine in your pocket where you can find out anything, you can like get anywhere. Like my phone when I was in Croatia, not only was I able to order a taxi, basically Uber, I was able to find restaurants, hotels, ratings, even if I didn't speak the language, right? I can,
Did you find Rakia?
yeah, and I can even email or not, sorry, I can use Facebook Messenger to contact and talk to people from around the country who happen to be in the same location as me, right? It's just a remarkable piece of software and hardware that is just accessible to so many people now. I believe there's more people with cell phones than there are people that have toilets, right?
Yeah.
That's the product of competition. But the problem is it's a one-off, right? And I brought this up in my stream. Like this is why you don't want healthcare to be under a competition uh, a window is because um, the only way to mark down prices is if you make the money back and you don't expend it. Basically, with a cell phone, when I buy that cell phone, I buy it. It's mine, right? And what they do is like for instance, my cell phone service, the way they allowed me to buy like almost $1,000 cell phone, is they say you only have to give us $100 today, and over the next 24 to 36 months, you'll just pay it off, right? It's like leasing a car, right? You just lease the phone, right? It's a brilliant it's a brilliant strategy that allows people like me to afford super expensive phones, you know, which I couldn't do before, right? And they make their money back because if you decide to change your phone, you have to pay the flat fee of whatever is left over on the payment, which will then deter you from turning your phone in right away, right? And it's good for the business because they make the money and they can see how much they're making off of you with every phone bill, right? It's a great model. But imagine that for healthcare or education, it doesn't work so well because with healthcare specifically, people get sick. That means the company has to pay the customer. They have to pay for their bills, right? That's the whole point of insurance, is in case shit happens, right? And I don't know, I don't want to break this to you guys, but you guys are going to get sick one day and you're going to potentially die. And so there is no maybe shit can happen. There is a guarantee shit will happen. You know? Think about it like this. Like I don't drive my car often, but I have car insurance for the same reasons, just in case something happens to you. But that's the thing. If I don't ever get in an accident my whole life, then that car company or a car insurance company made their money off of me. It's fine. You know? And that money that they made off of
Yeah.
me can pay for the people that had gotten to car accidents, you know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't work the same. And if you look at now, let's look at education because it's relative to you guys. The reason why education doing a competition doesn't work as well is because then you have to pay the teachers less money. And that's the problem we have right now. Because if you want to bring down cost of your private school or college, you have to cut money somewhere, right? You can't make something cheap without cutting something, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem yet again, is then you make the students suffer because their teachers are morons. If you look at like Art Institute, the school that I went to, like 90% of my teachers like were students who didn't get a job and then the school hired them again. So basically I'm learning from people that don't know how to get jobs. Okay? And I realized that. I was like, wait a minute, these people don't know how to get jobs because they never got a job. They're only talking hyperbole. Like they're only talking from what they think it is like. It's all opinion. They don't really know, right? And that's
Yeah.
when I started going to Noman workshops and events and doing stuff like you guys did, like listening to people who clearly worked in an industry. Like you guys take my opinion seriously, right? Because not only do I paint well and I explain how to paint well, I've worked for companies like Blizzard, Sony Santa Monica, Hasbro. I worked on the X-Men movie, right? I've worked.
Yeah.
I've actually worked. And I've seen the inside, you know? And so it's not me giving you some speculative suggestions of what the industry's like. No, I can tell you pretty much how it might be on a very general scale. I've worked for small studios. I've worked for large companies. I've worked on big projects. I've worked on small projects. You know, I've tried freelance. I've tried contract work. I've tried working in-house. I've done all kinds of stuff. I've even worked for VR companies now. I have that on my resume. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you take my opinion quite seriously, and obviously it's not an opinion, it's mostly theory, because theories are based off of facts. And see, the reason why it works well for me to have low costs of education, like you guys will, like you said, right? You learn more in the last 3 weeks from me than you did in almost your whole college experience, but you spent probably a fraction of the cost, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why that worked out is, again, because I am my own business. The money that you put in doesn't go into anything else than to me, right?
Yeah.
And if you do the math, you can see how I can keep it pretty cheap. I can even make it cheaper and still make a reasonable wage, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm only paying for myself. I will just have to make sacrifices. I would have to cut things. For instance, I hire people like John and Will to help me upload and answer emails to help me with the workload of that, right?
Yeah.
But I can afford to do that. And it's all because of you guys. This is why I can totally just keep a class at a very reasonable cost
Yeah.
without
I just
without
taught the
sacrificing.
March class.
Oh, what
I
the?
just bought the March plan.
All right.
Sorry.
So
Sorry.
which one are you? So you're in the Wednesday, Friday then, right? Because that's the only one that's
Yeah,
left.
Wednesday,
Okay.
Friday morning,
Yeah,
like,
I'll add you to it.
yeah.
Um, so if you think about it, right, like that's how it works. So and to have that quality education that you guys are getting, that you guys appreciate, which I'm very happy and thankful for and grateful for the feedback. Um, Imagine that you'd have to pay, because let's do the numbers, right? So right now I make about $485 on each purchase for the $500 class, right? And right now I have about 20 students maximum per month. So it's almost 10 grand that I'm getting from just you guys every month or every
Yeah.
other month. That's a really good wage. You can see how I can work from home and I can work part-time and hang out with my family and just live a comfortable life in Irvine, California. I don't have $1 million home or $1 million car, nor do I care about these things. I could do all kinds of stuff. I could make I was part of Learn Squared at one point, but then I left. But I can make like
It's almost.
I can make a whole thing around like making more money off y'all, right? I can do something like a subscription
Yeah.
model or like and that scales dramatically, right? And it's something
It's.
that's it's not a bad strategy, and it can be honest and it can still be fair. But my point is that I don't need to, right?
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah.
I keep it simple. I just teach you guys as best as I possibly can,
Yeah.
make you guys learn as much as you guys possibly can, try to encourage you guys to join the communities that will keep you fueled, as you guys eventually get to the careers that you guys have earned, and then you build a larger network of robot pencilers, which is already a great family of people, and they meet each other at events and hang out with each other, sometimes rent places together. Whenever I go to Croatia, I almost only hang out exclusively with my students, you know?
Yeah. It's better than a private contract with Blizzard Studio.
Yeah, yeah. And so check it out. So this is about yearly how much I would make just from teaching, okay?
Yeah.
So will a private college pay their teachers, their hundreds of staffers, this much money? Hell no. You see my point?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that's the problem with privatization, is that when you do that, it doesn't scale up, because then for people to be able to, like the common folk, because you guys, I said earlier, are not the common folk. That's why I don't need to sell thousands of seats, right? I just need to sell a few dozen, and I almost
Yeah.
always do, right? And
Yeah.
and that's fine. These private schools are going to occupy tens of thousands, if not millions of students, state like hundreds of millions of students over the across the Americas. So how in the fuck are they going to be able to afford education at that quality? They can't. And the only way they could is if the government helps out. If and that's what the government's doing right now. But the problem is it's like half privatized and half socialized. Like it's like the government run, right? It
You,
needs to be
you,
completely government run for us to get that badass education that we want. It has to be, because the way that it works is if in America specifically, if about 200 million of us, because it's the people that are going to be going to schools, roughly about 200 million of us, if we all paid about $100 to $200 each, we can afford, if out of the 200 million, or actually I think it's like 150, or it's close to 200, but it's like 150 maybe million people that actually go to school and some college, right? Some educate, like some higher education. Actually, it's a smaller number than that, but I'm talking about including public and higher education, because they both should be epically awesome and free. Um, if all 316 million Americans just paid another $100 of taxes, or based off their income. So the more money you make, the more money you put in. This is how it works. It sounds reasonable and rational. That is not a conservative point of view, right? So I've talked about a few conservative point of views. That is not one. That's a progressive one. And but the way that works is that everybody chips in to help everybody else out. So like even though I'm out of school, yeah, take $6,000 to $7,000, maybe $8,000 from my taxes every year to put into education. I'm fine with that because I have kids. They're going to eventually go to school, and I want them to go to schools that I can trust is going to give them the education that's going to teach them not how to just get 3 jobs, engineer, doctor, or some sort of scientist, right? I don't know if you guys know, there's more than 3 jobs that exist in this world, okay? And and schools only really teach you those few jobs because, well, that's how you make money. I just proved to you guys you can make money just being a teacher, right? But just like I said earlier, you have to be qualified. People aren't going to want to learn from you if they don't believe they're going to learn from you.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
so
that's
you have to earn it.
good point.
Everything has to be earned. And you can teach people how to earn that. Like I've been doing with this class. I'm teaching you guys how to earn your keep. I'm being honest with you guys. I say you guys can't get jobs right away. It's not that simple. But if you do these simple things, you can get those jobs, those careers. It's not impossible. It's not going to take you your lifetime either. It's going to take you reasonably 3 to 4 years if you work at it consecutively. Some of you sooner, some of you a little bit later. You know, it took me 10 years to get to where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like it took me a long time. And in another decade, who knows the kind of artist I'm going to be? I might be even more extraordinary, right? Both as an artist and as a teacher, right? And
Yeah.
so, this is my advice to people is to stop voting for these systems that are making our education system even worse. Because education should be free. I should be getting paid by the government yearly, so that way you guys can just learn from me for free. Like government should just be paying my bill. They should be throwing me a check every month upwards of 10 grand and say, hey, teach people. And there'll just be a waiting list of people that can sign up. I just teach people. I get paid. Everyone's happy. Free education for you. Government pays me. Right? But it's not that way. So $500. You know? And it's still reasonable cost, but it could be better if the government got their fucking heads out of the asses of these corporations who just want tax breaks. Goddamn corrupt, man. So disgusting. Um, and it's screwing everybody over, man. It's screwing our country over because these small greedy individuals, like the small few of just super greedy individuals, is making our country worse and worse. And it just got exponentially faster since Trump just took office. And see, here's the thing. I want to go ahead and answer some questions, but I don't think Trump is this mastermind that's like trying to capsize the U.S. government. I believe Bannon is that person, but I think Trump is just an old senile man. He's just like this is like your old grandpa that doesn't really know better.
How old is he?
He's like 72, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like an old senile grandpa that's a little racist. We all know
Yeah.
these people, and it's innocent when they're just our grandpas or just people on the streets that yell at pigeons. It's a
A
little
kind,
bit different.
a kind of old redneck, a kind of old redneck, in fact.
Yeah, not necessarily
Kind of
redneck.
old white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, the kind of old wasp, maybe.
Yeah. He's just an old dude, and not to say that old people can't run a country well. He's just that kind of old person. You know what I mean? The kind of person you wouldn't want to trust driving, and let alone running a country. And he's too old and stubborn to think differently. He's not going to advance his ability to rectify new ideas. He's not that kind of guy. Just is not going to come around. Anyway, so keep that in mind whenever you guys are looking for education. That's a really good gauge. Is does the school supply countless amounts of people? For instance, colleges. Like when I went to college, there was like about a 1,000 or 2,000 people attending my school in my major. Okay? And I learned that, like, wait, there's not thousands of jobs available in our state alone, you know? Or I'm sorry, in our county. There's like probably a few dozen that are for concept artists. And there's about 300 of us here that said they want to be concept artists. Yeah, this isn't going to work out for me if I just graduate alone, just have only good work. I'm sorry, good grades. I have to have good work. I have to have a portfolio that's people will hire me. I learned that very early. And luckily I did, because I dropped out of school when I realized it's garbage. And then I got a job like right away. And because I focused all my attention and efforts onto my portfolio, nothing else. You know?
Yeah.
So next week you're going to give some advice for making a good portfolio?
No, I can do that right now. You can take that as a Q&A question. Like, how do you make a good portfolio? And the answer is very simple, as most answers are, right, for my class. And I'm just going to demonstrate to you how simple it is. Let's pretend that you and I are hiring somebody, okay? You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Let's pretend that we're working for this game company and we're going to hire some new talent to work on our new game, okay?
All the talents.
Yeah. So before we do that, let me ask you a question. Looking at just this front page of ArtStation, would you agree that the majority of artwork here is pretty amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. The kind of art that we're doing for our game, all right? The kind of art that we're going to do for our game involves tanks. Like it's like a World of Tanks clone, but we're going to try to make a change to it, make it a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
With that being said, do you see or like anything in here on this page that would give us that kind of skill set? And we're hiring all sorts of types of talent.
Yeah.
Do you see it? I see one right here.
Yeah. Yeah. The same one.
Okay. But what about anything else? Not really, right?
I think not.
Yeah. So this is how it works. You just go here. You look at their work and say, oh yeah, they can definitely do this. They have like a very era. They don't have a lot of tanks, so I would go ahead and hire him by sending him an email. Well, he happens to be in India, so guess I have to outsource this work. I'm going to send him an email and ask him to potentially do an art test for us based off of the kind of tanks that we have already designed, or some sort of art test that will help us see if he's qualified. Because he doesn't have enough reference, but we want to kind of see how fast he might work. Or I'm sorry, he doesn't have enough examples, but we would want to see how well he works and how quickly and how well he can take feedback, you know? Because he seems pretty fresh. We don't know for sure.
Yep.
That's how hiring managers hire people, or art directors hire people, or people in the, like, they think of it very practically. Why would someone want to hire you versus someone else?
Yes.
And on top of that, why would they want to hire you if you're not even doing the kinds of things that they're looking for? Like, this is really cool, but we're not looking for this. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So, this idea that people have is, well, then shouldn't I just have a diversity in my portfolio then, right? Like, should I just have like tanks and cars and then people? And no, just stick to your guns. But understand why you can't work for Pixar if you're doing stuff like this. You know?
Oh, that guy is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing, but he'll never get a job at Pixar
No, it's
unless
out of subject.
unless he changes his skill set,
Yeah.
which he could totally do. I refrain from saying never. He just chooses not to by the way he creates his portfolio. And if you look at, like, and here's a great point that you just made. You said this work guy's amazing, or this guy's work is amazing. I agree. He's one of my favorite people. But let me tell you something. The reason why he's amazing is because he's consistently doing a certain style. You look at all of his work, there's no doubt in your mind the kind of painter he is.
Yeah.
And so
He's
that
got a
goes
very,
to, yeah, he's
got a
very
very
focused.
specific and special style.
Yeah, he's very focused on what he does and what he wants to do. Let's look at this Peter guy who worked on Call of Duty.
I was
Yeah,
actually
super militarized, epic
wondering,
3D stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
how can you pick an art style if you enjoy everything? And on the grand scheme of things, how do you stop exploring too much and limit your your curiosity to be more productive?
Just pick and choose the kinds of things you like from different art, but just keep painting and drawing. It will just naturally come from the product of drawing a lot. So these are all the pieces of artwork that I like, okay? And you'll notice that there's a variety, and I'll demonstrate. Stylized, love it. Stylized realism, love it. Super high-tech space stuff, love it. Epic environment scape, love it.
Mm.
Hot chick with big weapons, love it. Beautiful painting, love it. Stylized stuff, again, love it. And the solution is learn from learn from these things. So why do I like stylized stuff? Well, aside from the personality of it, I really love the personality of many things that are come from stylized. But then realism, I would really love like the quality, okay? And I'm like a technical artist. But see, the thing is that when you see me paint, I take the elements of stylized art with like graphic shapes and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and just put it to more realistic paintings. That's how it kind of sits there. That's how you can tell it's the Anthony Jones style. If you didn't know what it was before, I'm telling you, it's that there's like a sense of like quality of shape. And I learned a lot of that. I learned a lot of that from looking at stylized artworks, you know? Like it's obvious to why like my work is good in terms of quality, and it's because I just paint a lot. You know what I mean? And I am a technician. But you know, there's something interesting to think about because when you look at like my the things that I've done in the past, for instance, I'm a really big fan of guitar. Like when I played guitar, I used to be a musician, and I was a big fan of Blink-182, which was like a pop punk band. Right? They're very funny. They make very fun music, and that was the kind of music that I loved to listen to. Yeah, but check it out. Like I also love like Ingwie Malmsteen, and if you don't know who that is, it's fine. But just know he's like the kind of guitarist that played like super crazy, like fast, like that, you know?
Yeah.
And so what it was that I was mostly attracted to was the kind of the love of music that was fun to listen to. But when it came to becoming a guitarist, I love the ability of like precision and technicality, excellence, right? And if you look at how I paint, it's very similar. I like to paint things that have a little bit more personality, a little bit more charm than your average bear, you know?
Yeah.
But then I try to be really technical and nail it like in a very technical sense. And that's really why a lot of people enjoy the kind of artwork that I do is for these reasons.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right? Like the proportions and anatomy of this person's face is actually a little bit more stylized. And I did that on purpose because there's more personality you get from stylized faces. But it's so subtle that you don't notice it. It's hidden behind technical excellence. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's how you get your style. It's just a combination of all the kinds of things that you're really into, right? And just how you put them together. That's how you get unique style. So I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Like always just be in love with all the different things. But to really answer your question, just don't get distracted too often. Like just go with your gut, what you naturally like to draw, but don't be shy from learning from stylized stuff. And a good gauge is like think about the kind of company you want to work for and make portfolio pieces that would fit in that world.
Mhm. Yep.
Right? Like if you like World of Warcraft, then draw World of Warcraft-esque style.
I see.
Yeah. I have a question about maybe you can critique my portfolio sometime.
Yeah, I'll do it after the class. I usually do it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, just remind me next week. We'll do it.
Okay.
Uh, by the way, I think about a completely different thing. Thing. I did you still uh, I 3 years ago I bought to you the Heaven Sales book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I don't receive it for the moment. I think maybe you're too busy.
Oh wait, what happened?
I don't know.
Wait, say it again. I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
Yeah, so maybe I uh, maybe after the class I would just give you a few mails about maybe my new address because I moved and but I
Oh, I see. You're one of the backers. Is that
yeah
what you're saying? Oh yeah, dude.
yeah
Absolutely. Yeah, some people don't realize that they just got to email me, and people make complain a lot, as you probably saw. I went through ups and downs with that whole thing. But yeah, I've been sending them out pretty much every week or every other week. I send out at least 20 or 30 books, and it's
yeah
usually people that just email me.
you're
They
still
are available on Amazon, yeah?
Yeah, so the one on Amazon is done through Design Studio Press. In fact, someone today was like messaging me and they were just like, or someone wrote on the thing, they're like, you should stop selling your books on Amazon. And I'm like, I don't sell those. Those are not mine. Those are Design Studio Press. So they
Okay.
actually,
So,
they own the rights to those books. I make no money from that at all. Not a dime. I have
what?
no control. Yeah, yeah. Because of how the deal went, because the whole Kickstarter thing went pretty awry.
it's legal.
It went really
It's
bad on my end, and I got pretty much screwed out of a lot of things. But I kind of deserved a lot of it, and I won't get too much into it. But I always talk about failures as part of life. That was one of my biggest ones, and I learned a lot from it. And yeah, and so people feel like they come and attack me. They think that this is like there's some nefarious things going on. No, it's pretty simple. I just mismanaged and miscalculated that whole thing, and now I'm just sending books out and refunding people who don't want to wait any longer. It's that simple. It really is
Okay.
that simple. And I've apologized countless times. And so it seems like, and look, this is a great example of the kinds of people that are completely understanding of it, right? Like they understand it's just like it was just bad. Some people really think that I'm like this really malicious, evil dude. No, I just was really irresponsible and stupid. And I just made a huge mistake. And so, yeah, uh, send me your address through the robotpencil.info@gmail because John
yeah
helps me manage that. He emails people. He basically he puts a category and puts people on a list for me to get ready and package up. I just forget to
yeah.
update often. That's my problem. I should also update more often, but I just don't.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
actively on it. Like I just sent a refund this morning. Someone
Oh
asked
yeah,
for a
no, no.
refund this Friday, last Friday, and I was like, oh yeah, no problem. There's no hard feelings either. I don't get upset about it. I'm just like, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, but
So,
it's a book really interests me, not the money. I don't care about the money in the book because I just have a you send a half part in a PDF, I say, and it's I see wow, it's going to be great. I said that to myself in 2013. So now we are in 2017. I say, okay, maybe I could just email him to ask
Yeah, you
where
know
he.
what, man? I don't know why people don't email me more often. Like they
I'm
should.
shy. I'm shy.
They should. And I'm gonna make a comment to that actually, because I realize a lot of people don't know that they can just contact me and I'll start to expedite their stuff.
Yeah.
I thought I've made like literally dozens of posts about emailing me, like literally dozens. It's like email me and I'll start to sort this stuff out. And because it's just easier, it's easier for me to manage, right? And
Yeah.
and nobody does, and everyone sits around and just like thinks that I'm not doing nothing. So I appreciate you bringing it up actually. And it's great because like it's crazy that you still support me even with all that mix up, and I'm very appreciative of that. I'm very thankful for you and your support regardless.
No,
That's
but
really
I,
nice.
I got friends who are in the world of edition, books edition. A good friend of mine who managed the old forum Café Salé in France, who
Uh-huh.
made hard books, and they know that it's when you're alone, on your own, to make this kind of huge project, it's very, very difficult because you don't control the success you will have, and you had a lot of success with these books. So when you get maybe about 3,000 people want the book, wow, how I'm gonna manage it? Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yeah, and you know, I criticize Donald Trump, right? And I made an argument on one of my first posts about Donald Trump saying, how could we let somebody that doesn't know what the hell they're doing be in charge
yeah,
of something they don't know what to do? And I'm speaking
yeah,
from experience. Like I'm not
yeah,
just saying this as somebody that's just like an outsider. No, I've experienced myself. I've never made an art book. I've never distributed art books, and I failed miserably. And I was like, look, like this is completely different. Yeah, like this is not like the fallout that I received from that was I was able to manage out of it, right? I was able to get past it. But the fallout from our president here in the States would create an actual fallout. You know what I mean?
maybe maybe your president will it will take maybe two years to understand what is his job exactly.
Oh, dude, yes, yeah, 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 yeah. And yeah,
And
it's
finally, he's not going to do anything about stupid things. Yes, because in fact he's foolish. He's fool. He's a fool in this. He got no competence for this job. In
yeah,
fact,
yeah. Yeah,
and
and
you
I
see
was in
that
the
on
same and I was in the same vein as well. That's what I'm trying to say. But like at least I
yeah
wasn't running a country, right? I was just mishandling books. So I appreciate you. Just like I said, just email me and I'll get it sorted out. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, you
yeah.
should have just brought it up sooner. Like you didn't have to wait towards the end of the class. You could have brought it up much sooner. You could have brought it up a year ago.
So,
Yeah, but
so if I
Lucas,
want to support you, how do I buy the book?
Well, if you want to get like a hardcover copy version of it, I can send you one. We can do just like exchange over PayPal because I have refunded quite a bit of them, and hard copy are unique to the backers, so it'll be a very specific and very unique one. The one that you would get online is only a paperback.
Yeah.
So
So
the hardcovers are only to Kickstarter backers, but I have some left over now because of people who retracted from the backing, right? So I have a
okay.
lot left over that I can just like I plan to actually sell them on my own once I get them all out. But I think it's fine for you if you want. Like in very one-off situations like this, I just sell it to you like really simply, and I'll just mail it to you. No big deal.
and I just asked myself, where did you stock all these books?
I have storage, and I don't have a lot left over, and I actually have like I think a few hundred people, less than a few hundred, like I think 100 to 200 people left that I think I have to get these books out to. So I'm almost there, man. Like I'm getting close. I think it's going to take another several months though, because it is expensive, especially internationally. I
Yeah,
sent a book out internationally recently, and the person that I sent it to had to pay like $40
yeah,
to get the book, and I'm like, what? And so it's
yeah.
just like,
Sometimes yeah, you get to pay twice price of the book
yeah, I'm just
to
like,
have it.
God damn it, this is a nightmare. And so it's an ongoing nightmare that I keep dealing with. but like I put myself in this situation. I take responsibility for it. And so I tell people, I tell people, like, if you just don't want the book, then I'll just refund you. And if you do want the book, just wait.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I
take
will
time.
email you.
Yeah, so just email me, and then we'll put you on the next batch, and then we'll just contact. I'll just talk you through it until we get you that book. No big deal.
Mm. So I'm going to left you guys because I got my family to manage now. My
Well, I have to
daughters.
go actually too. We've gone past our time. We had good conversations though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the chats, y'all.
See you next week.
Yeah, dude. See you next week as well. Hold on.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night or day or have a day. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye,
See
Nicholas.
you later, man.
Bye.
Yeah, so thank you guys again for doing some good hard work, asking great questions, having good discussion. Appreciate y'all. With that being said, I appreciate everything you guys have done, and I'll see you guys next week. Oh, before I go, make sure to hang out with each other. Use the Discord, use the Skype group, chat, talk, motivate,
Okay.
inspire one another, and then push through. This is the final week, so I'll see you guys then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Laters, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you liked the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.